In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I go about creating my clothing for my clothing brand, Morgu. We're not going to be making just any clothes today. We are going to be making a pair of pants. I'm not sure what kind of design I'm going for, but we are going to kind of put our brains together, put some ideas in our head, and basically pan out some designs. And you never know. We might use it one day for a clothing drop. You never know. There are many ways to go about creating clothes, designing clothes, or just making clothes. But today, we are going to be using an iPad with Apple Pencil. These are going to be the two tools that I will be using today. Well, actually, not the two tools. There's actually going to be a lot of tools, but these are the two main important ones. And on this iPad, you're going to go ahead and download Procreate. That is the app I'm going to be using today, is Procreate. Download Procreate. I'm pretty sure it's like $12.99 right now. I'm not too sure on the Apple Store, but it's a very good app, and I definitely would recommend it if you guys are getting into designing your own clothes. But that being said, guys, let's go over to my setup, and I'll show you exactly how I go about creating my own clothing for my clothing brand. Let's go. Alright, dude, so we are at my setup. We are at my desk. This is basically where all the magic is going to happen. So, first thing you want to do, let me just show you guys. I don't know if you guys see that. Alright, so first things first, what you guys are going to do is go ahead and open Procreate on your iPad. Now that you're in Procreate, I will show you exactly the format that you guys need to actually start from scratch. To start brand new, basically. Alright, so once you guys enter the app, you guys are going to see a little menu that looks kind of like this. Alright, keep with me here. So first thing you want to do is hit this little plus button up here, and then this little icon, whatever that is. So it'll bring you to this little screen here, and basically what it's saying, you're basically going to put in your height and your width of your actual canvas. In my opinion, this is what I've seen from a lot of people. I would do 4,000 pixels by 4,000 for the height, and then your DPI, I would set that to around 300, and then maximal layers, do around 79, 70, something up in the 70s. You know what I mean? So something like that. If you guys want to look at my screen. Alright, then after you get that done, you're going to head and click this check mark right here, and that's going to bring you to your canvas, right? This is where the magic happens. This is where you're actually going to be designing your clothes. So instead of just like going to Google and being like, yeah, let me get this, shirt design, or, when people are thinking about, I'm starting a clothing brand, the most common thing to think of is, just another one of those guys that's putting a little screen printing on a t-shirt and then selling it. It's like, here's my clothing brand. Alright, I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea about this clothing brand stuff. The clothing, this brand, Morgu, isn't going to be some brand that just slaps labels and like, or just like, oh my gosh, there's so much like AI, bro. Like, I love AI. AI is the best tool. You can make a lot of money from AI. I've done it myself. But when it comes to designing clothes, I like to stay away from AI. If you really are about, being in this clothing space and in this industry, you're going to want to, honestly, I would learn how to make your own clothes. Go grab a sewing machine and actually learn, how to stitch and how to, actually create clothes literally out of thin air. Yeah, I like to stay away from like going to AI and being like, yo, make this design with this and this and this. Stay away from that. One, it's just lazy, and two, AI can't make good ideas and good designs. Like, it's not going to be as good as you can make with your brain, right? Your brain is your biggest tool that you have, when it comes to, art and making clothes, right? Your brain is your best tool. So you're going to want to use that. And when it comes to actually designing and making clothes, basically you're getting your brain and you're just throwing it on a freaking canvas like this. And, if it turns out great, which 99 times out of 10, it's not going to turn out bad because it's coming from your brain. You know what I mean? So how I like to start, right, is, let's get some Actually, come on. Let's go, guys. Let's go get some inspiration. We need inspiration first. So making clothes using Procreate is literally going to be, it's pretty much going to be the exact same with any piece of garment that you want to create, whether it's pants, shirts, zip-ups, you know, big O freaking sweaters, big O jackets, whatever it could be. Today, we're going to be making pants, and I'm about to show you guys exactly how I go about doing so. So let's go. So first things first, we need some inspiration, right? We're going to be making pants, correct? Okay, correct. So we're going to be making pants. Now, let's go maybe into my drawers or my closet, or, you know, and let's find a pair of pants, you know, that I think fit nice, right? Go to your closet, go ahead and grab either the pants that you're wearing or just any type of pants that you like how they fit. Go ahead and grab that pair. That's the first step, grabbing inspiration. All right, so this is what I ended up finding, right? I found these little Boss Hugo, little, you know, little nice fitting piece of jeans. Actually, I'll go ahead and throw them on so you guys can get the idea of what they actually are supposed to fit. Okay? Now, I probably need a belt with these because they're pants and, you know, they keep my pants up is what I'm trying to tell you. But I don't know if you guys can see this, but they're not too baggy and they're not too skinny. They're honestly perfect. All right? This is how I like these. This is a great inspiration. I'm inspired by these pants. So now that I know, all right, I like how these fit, you know, these are something that I would wear. Let's go ahead and make my own. Let's go ahead and turn these pants into some more goos, you feel me? Let me go ahead and take these off real quick. Okay, so now that you've picked out a piece of inspiration, right? You've got your pants or whatever you guys want to create. I'm doing pants this video, obviously. So I picked out the pants that I loved or that I like. All we're gonna do now is just lay them out flat. Go ahead and just lay them out flat, whether, honestly, it doesn't matter where it's at, right? Go ahead and just lay them down. They're a little wrinkled up, but it's not gonna matter, okay? Okay, next thing, go ahead and get out your phone and you're just gonna take a picture of it just like this, flat on the ground. That's it. So basically you're on your camera and we're just gonna go ahead and hit them with one of these. All right, and fix it if you have to, obviously. Make some adjustments. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it, you know, nice and flat. Go ahead and hit them with another one of these. Boom. Here you go. That's it. Just flat on the ground, boom. Take a couple of those just to make sure. All right, so now we're back on the iPad. Next thing you want to do is take that freaking picture that you took on the flat ground. Whether it's a shirt, pants, hoodie, whatever, right? Grab it and go ahead and click airdrop. You're gonna want to airdrop this to your iPad. Oh, Aaron's iPad, here it goes. Basically waiting. You're on your canvas, right, that we made, right? You remember. You're gonna click this little wrench right here. First thing, click add, insert a photo, and then insert whatever, the pants, the shirt, the hoodie, whatever you had, insert that. Now you got it. And now you have, you know, whatever you want to make. And I know what you dudes are thinking. You're thinking, this is looking really confusing already. I'm lost, all right? I'm going to just show you these simple steps that, you know, you're going to need to actually start at least. You know, you're going to catch on eventually once you start playing around with the app a little bit more and, you know, kind of knowing what you're doing. But anyway, once you have your pants, right, you're going to want to click these little two boxes here. And as you're going to see here, if you can see, you have little layers right here. So you have layer one. So what you want to do with these pants is you're going to click the little in right next to it and you're going to see the opacity settings. You're going to want to turn that down to, I don't know, let's just say 50. Around 50. I put mine at 56. It doesn't matter. As long as it's in the 50s or somewhere, I don't know. So then what you're going to want to do next is you're actually going to want to, next to layers, click this little plus sign and it's going to add layer 2. Now that you have layer 2, you're going to want to click your mock-up brush and do it in black. And now we have the ability to draw, right? obviously we don't want it to be that big. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our first layer and move these pants to, let's say, about right here. So now that we've actually got, a foundation, right, we're actually getting to the part where we get to draw, right? So follow along. Here's the next thing we're gonna do, because it could get complicated, but trust me guys, it's really simple, honestly, so just follow along. So after we have that and you turn the opacity down, let's go to my first layer. Make sure you're not on the same layer as this. You always want to be making new layers as you're going on. So now that you have a fresh new layer, what you're going to want to do next is basically outline your pants, your entire pants. But before that, pay attention very close right here, because what I'm about to show you, you could get a little lost. So just follow along. Alright, so you need to have symmetry on before we start. So as you can see, when I draw, it only has one little line, right? Click the wrench, then go down to canvas, and then go ahead and turn on drawing guide right here. Then right below that, it'll say edit drawing guide. Click edit drawing guide, and then click symmetry right there. Then click the check mark. Alright, so now that you have drawing assist and symmetry on, when you draw, it'll be popping up on the other side like that, right? It has symmetry. So, now that you have that on, now you're ready to actually start outlining your mock-up. Go ahead and add all of the little inseams. So boom, it's gonna look something like that. Now when you go back to your layering, and you can actually turn this off, and there you go. Look at that. You have a literal pair of pants for a mock-up. What I'm gonna do right here is go ahead and add stitching to my pants. So I could actually add custom stitching to my garments. Stitches right here. And look at this. We have all of these all of these stitches right here that we can use. So for these pants, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and use this double stitching right here. Now I'm trying to think, what kind of pants do we want to make, guys? What about, hold on, what if we did all black pants, right? With these fittings, like the one that you just saw, they're all black except they're denim, right? They're denim pants, denim jeans, and they're waxed, like waxed denim. Like you have denim jeans and then you dip them in wax to get this really nice texture. And I've honestly never worn waxed denim jeans, and I would love to not only own a pair, but to actually produce a pair of my own, to you guys essentially. So I think that's what we're actually going to go for today when we're designing our pants. So yeah, let's go ahead and just do a black stitching, right? Let's go ahead and click this, boom, black stitching. So now what you guys can see is we actually have literally stitching we can draw on. Now, as you guys can see, we have our denim effect, right? You see that? You see that? We zoom out. Now they look like actual denim jeans. So our manufacturers can be like, oh, okay, they're denim. Like the more detail you put into this, the better the outcome is gonna be. This is literally it. Here's the front. All right, so now we got the front done, but we have to do the back. But it's just as easy, so let's go ahead and get started with that. I mean, I basically just drew on some basic pockets, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and just add stitching where stitching just needs to go. Now I've made just a basic pair of denim jeans, right? Now is to the designing part. Like I said, I didn't really want this pair of jeans to be super detailed. You know, I might add a little, you know, a couple of elements that will, you know, stand out and still, you know, be my design. But I'm just gonna go ahead and play around with it a little bit and do just something chill. And we're just gonna see what happens. Now we just finished up this back little piece, right? Here's the back side, and honestly, it's done. Like, this is a simple pair of just denim jeans. As you can see, if we zoom in, we have the denim texture, we have all of our stitching, we have our little embossed logos here if you wanted to. After you've made, you know, whatever you wanted to make, you're gonna go to the little wrench again, and then click share, go to PDF, obviously the best, right? And you can save it to your files, so just save it to your files, honestly. And now you've made your first pair of pants. So now that you guys have saved it and now it's in your files, you are ready to actually use what you made and create your tech pack with that. And then you can send it to your manufacturer and have them make your own clothes. You know, how cool is that? You know, you learned something today. You learned how to you know, design your own clothing, which I think is pretty cool to learn. Stay tuned up in that Morgue, all right? Stay tuned up in that Morgue, all right?